Welcome back to you, Pumpkin. I just got back from feeding my squirrel and also watching the highest of stakes movie, the HEX movie, friends. It's been a long time coming. I did not think I would actually ever see it, just I've been so busy, but I finally had a chance to watch it. Do you want to hear my thoughts? See, friends, I heard everybody else's review about this first. I heard everyone's view, and I'm just going to be completely honest. It looks like we got scammed. Sorry. I'm just being completely honest. When you watch the movie, knowing we went minus 99% from that point, you're like, oh, golly gee, I guess it was a scam. And it reminds me, actually, Trayvon. Shout out to Trayvon. Because that was exactly what he said. It was the same conclusion. He was like, let's get all hyped. And he's like, investors just going to look at this chart and go, oh, I guess they did get scammed. All those poor people did lose all their money, right? And they're referencing the two protagonists of the movie, right? So the financial auditor. So and speaking, and she's like going to the conferences, and she's like, they always do the same thing. They put a really rich person at the front to say, hey, you can be like them, and they show all the poor people, right? So I know it's meant to come off as neutral, but maybe we're just biased because we're looking at the price chart every day, okay? But I know what you're really here for. You're here for your friend Sommi, deep intergalactic peanut brain discoveries from watching the movie. Okay, so some things I learned, okay, from the movie that probably I didn't hear from anybody else. Firstly, he really got humbled. Richard got real humbled. I could tell from that. I was not expecting that. There were parts of the movie where he basically just implies, yeah, you put your money in, you're going to be richer in like 6 months, man. Yeah. Now, no expectations, but you can kind of tell that must have been on like the super parabola part, right? But of course, this is everybody, all right? Because my first emotional reaction was like, oh yeah, we got scammed. But then the second emotional reaction was, hang on, just chill out. What's the difference between this and anything else? The prices went up and down. It's just that this went a lot up, okay? Now, there actually is a bit of a difference, friends, because humans, we think relative. So let's just be brutally honest. There are sharks in the HEX ecosystem that have no business being millionaires. They fluked it. And I guess congratulations to them. They saw the dude in the top hat who says, hey, I'm making basically a Ponzi that inflates at 40% and this is going to work. And you know what they said? They go, sweet, get me in 10 grand, day one, adoption amplifier. I know there's guys out there, they cashed out, 5, 10, 15 million. I think the biggest wallet we saw, friends, that actually cashed out was someone who cashed out 14 million. We saw a shout out to that guy. I think his name is Ben. I forgot your name, but he's a real good gentleman who actually put, I think maybe Ben Sierra. He puts his nice data. It actually shows you all the wallets that cashed out. And you just see like 14 million, 12, 10, 8, 7, 6, lots of ones. And then it cuts off. You can just see all these people who they dumped on us, okay? Now, when it comes to that though, there's a lot of things going on. So remember I spoke to you, humans, we think relative. Here's the thing, okay? So on paper, you do more for the world if, let's say, there was no value somewhere. And then you make a crypto, and then the value goes to $50 billion, like HEX, non-origin address circulating market cap did back in 2021. Now, the real one, I think, was about 45 billion. So if you guys are curious about calculating market caps and valuations, that's about it. I think it was about 90 billion circulating coins times 50 cents. It's around 45 billion, okay? Now, so I'm comparing two worlds. I'm comparing that world where you make something that goes 45 billion and then crashes 99%. And now the combined HEX price, right, if you look at it, it's like 2 billion. Okay, so you're down 98%. You basically got destroyed, all right? Still destroyed after more than 2 years, okay? Looking at the price chart. Now, if you look at another price chart and you go, all right, you were never able to get to 45 billion, but your coin was only able to get to 400 million, okay? And it crashed to 100 million, right? Us, relative creatures, you're going to call the HEX chart the scam. But the truth is, net, it added more value. It just so happens that that thing that pumped less and dumped less sustained itself more. So these are terms that you got to get used to these, friends. Because remember, even thinking about, for example, the titan of the industry, Bitcoin, how good are you as a store of value if Doge outperforms you? Right? That's like the biggest shock in the world, right? Doge is grabbing more network effect than Bitcoin, right? Doge BTC going up. Friends, what if Doge just keeps ranging up and actually gains on Bitcoin over time permanently? That's not something else to think about too. What if Ethereum flips it, okay? How good of a store of value are you, right? So you're a good money base for the crypto ecosystem, you're first. But, you know, these questions, you got to ask yourself this to kind of figure out, how do you get a competitive edge with everybody else out there? Now, with the movie, I learned, you know, okay, well, he really got humbled, man. just being honest, friends, I was like, wow. Like, when Richard says, I'm now humble. Yeah. I don't think that's like what you really think. I don't think that's like, oh, the outrage is done. I think it's like, he'll watch the movie again, right? That's what it is, okay? That's what he's talking about. Just my guess, though. Just my guess. Now, the investigators and the protagonists in the movie, you know, they're like trying to figure out, is this a scam or isn't it, right? I know it's meant to come off very neutral and biased, but like anybody who thinks for themselves, they're like, yeah, scam. They're going to walk away thinking it's a scam, friends. Looking at the price chart, it is what it is. But we have no reference point. What if they made a Bitcoin movie in 2012, 2013, you know? What if they made a Bitcoin movie when it was $1,000 and then it dropped and people talking about Satoshi, saying Satoshi, change your money, change your game, and you looked at that, right? What if that happened? That's something to think about. We can only look through history with this lens of hindsight and that benefit. If only we knew how HEX's price chart looks in the next 24 months, because I tell you right now, that's really critical. Like everything relies in 2024. I'm not even kidding, friends. Like this is big. This is big and this is serious, because if it stops here, everybody loses and everyone knows it. Okay, now you can sit here and go, yes, I'm making more HEX yield and I get more T shares. Yeah, but you know what the game is, man. You're diluting against the limited liquidity pool, the value there, okay? But he's trying to keep the game going, okay? That's how people are going to interpret it. They see PulseChain, they see PulseX. And remember, PulseX could be the greatest coin because people want to play in a casino. The fees from the economic activity, which is people just degenning in the meme coin, right, world and trading around, that economic activity gets routed to buy PulseX up, and liquidity bonding drags everything up. So we might have actually something there, which is very like surprising to most of you because everyone's like ravaging on PulseX being absolutely trash, which I'm just being honest with you, friends. It could be the greatest coin because it's decentralized BNB. You just don't have somebody manually buying this up, okay? So that's another thing to think about. There were also parts of the movie. I saw Mr. IMB Roots. He got really cringed, and when he said it, now that I read it, the cringe part at the start was referring to Richard as God. I felt the same thing too, sir. I did, but you got to remember the chart had just done a 10,000x from the bottom, and it was bouncing off every high or low, and its worst dip was 85% with an instant recovery. So people had not seen the real cycle yet, you know. So it was just people talking fluff. You know, but, you know, friends, there's something that Richard said. He's always like the most important part's the community. And I know what's everybody giving that weight as 0 right now. That's why the chart is 99% down. Okay. If anybody believed Richard's words when he said the community matters, the price would not be down that low. Now, this is where opportunity may exist, right? Do you consider the ecosystem cheap? Because maybe the community is reading it wrong. That's just something to think about, friends, when it comes to that. Because at the end of the day, I'll tell you something right now. You have Mr. B Roots and Ian in the ecosystem, okay? You have me. I can link stuff from the outside world. You have the fighting with like Fame and Buck. And you have Dildo with Buck as well. You have all these elements coming. Now we have Liquid Loans, okay? We even have Mintra. All these elements coming in. There has to be value there, man. It can't just be zero, friends. I'm watching these meme coins fly, and it can't be zero. And this is only my conclusion after a long shower. Because I promise you, as soon as I finished that movie, I was like, I think we did get scammed. I'm just joking, friends. I'm just joking. I'm gonna pump some music. Just, it's okay. It's okay. I've got to show you something, friends, because at the end of the day, if you take one thing from the movie, so looking at the movie, I noticed, okay, he got really humbled about his theories about cycles. And look, at the end of the day, I'm being honest, friends, being honest. If you put a water pistol to my head, okay, honest to God, first words that come out of my mouth, what I heard my voice say was like, he better pump the living shit out of this in the next 24 months. Because that's the only redemption for this, okay? Because remember, friends, to be honest with you, I had to pause the movie every like 8 minutes, okay? I was feeling sick because of everything I saw in there, okay? Just the conviction and the euphoria and knowing that we went minus 99%. Do you want to show you even more like what hurt me, friends? If you look at the trailer here, this trailer was released, okay, 5 months ago. This was the PulseChain launch, okay? And if you go down, you can actually see everybody being super, super, super excited, okay? Like everyone's super, super excited going around, and everyone thought this is just the best yet to come, okay? And it just went worse and worse and worse again. So I know I'm throwing a lot of elements here, but guess what, friends? You gotta really fine tune yourself if you want to make a concentrated bet and make it big, because you can throw lottery tickets into anything out there, but it doesn't really matter, right? Warren Buffett style, man, you got to concentrate. That's how you're really going to make it, all right? Now, the movie, would I change anything about the movie? Actually, I give the movie, I'm not joking, like a 10 out of 10. I really give it a 10 out of 10. It left me feeling uncomfortable. I felt like I had this, like, if you've noticed in the movie, there's like this screeching metallic music, like rusty things. That's from horror movies. That's to make you think, I've got to think something's coming. Makes you feel a bit edgy. Makes you feel uncomfortable. That was actually genius to put that music in there, okay? And it did make me feel uncomfortable the whole time. I reckon the music made the whole movie. Made me think like, yeah, it's a scam. I'm feeling like uncomfortable here. It's like you feel like you're in a haunted house and it's so cold and you're like, something's weird around here. Like someone's watching me. That's what it felt like, all right? And I mean, it's so fitting because, like, friends, it went down 99%. You know what I mean? Like, here's another thing as well. I'll be honest, right? You put anybody else. Look, at the start, felt like, nah, it looks like a scammer. But at the end, I was like, it came across more of, he's a guy with big ideas, and let's see if they work out. That's what it was. But just being honest, friends, Do Kwon was the exact same thing. Do Kwon said, yeah, why can't we have a stable coin where everybody agrees this is $1 because it backs the ecosystem? Why can't we? Of course we can. And this is another thing that breaks a lot of people's hearts. I know I've spoken to a lot of your friends. I see all the DMs and Twitter messages, and I see everything, and everyone's like, man, it sucks that we have a real DeFi ecosystem, removing middlemen, removing the middle fat, removing all of these, yet we're underperforming the VCs. We're underperforming all the shield, low, fully diluted valuation trash scams. We underperformed FTT and Celsius. This one, I think, was the kicker, friends. This one really hurt. This is what I've noticed, me, just listening to everybody else. A lot of people, this one basically pushed people over the edge, okay? One of my friends, actually, I'm not joking, started selling. He started trimming his portfolio weight down when he found this out and he saw this, okay, for himself, that Luna is actually doing better than HEX, okay? So removing the Pulse and PulseX dilution, because, if you add them all up, yeah, we're technically a bit better, but just for HEX itself, right? Luna, with their Luna airdrop, so they gave people airdrop to go, hey, the system's still alive. It's beating it's beating HEX. So putting all that information together, remember, okay, if you've heard some like shocking things, but I mean, like, friends, like it's tough. Like, it's tough to go through these narratives and talk to people about them because Richard created them. Okay, Ricardo Corazon, he created these narratives from nothing. So he wrote the story. He put the logical sequence out. You just tick over the calendar 365 days, and then you're like, hey, what happened to the story? Oh, it doesn't apply anymore. He's gone. You know what I mean? Like, whether or not he's gone or not doesn't really matter, but it's things like, we were all there. We know the bear market hedge, his predictions, and all these things, right? Also, going through the movie, you kind of see as well, you realize his predictions play a big role. I'm just being honest, right? He's right now, he's missed his last one. Now, yes, we can say GBTC, yes, grayscale, Bitcoin hit 11K, blah, 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 but I don't think so. I think he really thought 10, 11K because he says, oh, Bitcoin drops 85% every time. Whether you think everybody front runs him or not, doesn't really matter. Okay, what I'm saying is I think that's a chink in the armor, okay, getting that prediction wrong. Think about it. You have a hot streak, you get something wrong. Now, is the next one going to be right? Remember, he was bearish on Bitcoin at 30K resistance. He's bearish on stocks. Maybe my thing's going to be right, where stocks punch through the high like they are now, get everybody like Jim Cramer to say, no more soft landing, actually no landing at all, no recession, and then we dunk later on, right? Maybe something like that happens. So you leave away walking with something, ideas like that too, in terms of his predictions being playing a big role in the whole ecosystem. And also explains, right, see, the market is smarter than you and me. As he was missing from the launch, you see, before the SEC, let's do the chart here. Before the SEC, okay, as he's missing from the launch, I'm going to put a daily chart here. People were pricing in the absence. Bang, 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 bang. Here's the SEC, this candle here. Okay, I put a flag here where the SEC was. So the market was saying, oh, wow, lowering network effect, lowering network effect, lowering network effect. Oh, here comes corrupt SEC. Okay, so market smart. It knows, all right? People know. They sniff these things out. Because at the end of the day, it's something to think about as well. Every coin, okay, by the way, you better learn this for life. Every coin, even if it has no inflation, so even if the supply is scarce, okay, it's capped, they all have a decaying effect on it. They all have a decaying network effect function. Why? Because there are people in the ecosystem, they're dying off by default every day. People are dying off and they're getting bored looking at other shiny objects, moving their capital around, okay? So even if your system, your crypto doesn't have yield paying out, you will have people dumping for expenses over time. Expenses, chasing shiny objects for whatever it is, okay? So that is super important to keep in mind. Now, what I want to show you, friends, is, okay, the price chart, yeah, we all know, okay, price chart went down. We know this, okay? Yeah, we know it. Price chart went down, PulseChain, PulseX, and HEX, okay. But I want to share with you something. Okay. Now, Metcalfe's Law, why? Why is it so hard for everybody to grasp? It's because of the relative value of Metcalfe's Law. Let me show you, okay? So if you start a network, let's draw a chart here. If you start a network with one person, so here you go, you're one, okay? Your value is 1, okay? So here you are. You see this here. Now, if you go to, say, 3 people in the network, okay, now you will have a value of 9, okay? So you have 1, you have 9. Now, obviously, here comes the parabola, right? So if we keep going, okay, and we increase the value of the network, so the number of people in the network, we get up to like 10 up here, right? You're going to get your 10 squared. See up here? You're going to get a value of 100. Bang, okay? So that is something you've always got to keep going. Like, whoa. Okay, so it's not even like that. It's like, whoa. You see that? Now, here's the thing. Remember, if you go from 10 people, so this is, now we're going to speak about, okay, we've run out of buyers, the weekends are going to go. They bought the top, they're going to sell on the way down and take losses. This is why, what I tell you, friends, always, it's not about whether you think you have the greatest product or anything else, okay? It's who's positioned with you, okay? So yes, the fundamentals matter, but are there weak hands with you? Because this is what you're going to go through. And this is actually not what you go through. You've seen this in the past 2 years. I'm just explaining it to you. So your 100 value for your coin, let's say your coin was $1, went to $9, then it went to $100. You had 10 people here. Now from Metcalfe's Law, right, if you just go backwards, okay, look at this. If you go from 10 people down to 3 because 7 people were basically like weak hands, well, guess what? Here's the thing. Glass half full, you went from 1 to 3 people. So you've tripled your value, right? You tripled the value of people. You had 1 person there, now you got 3. But look what happened to the price. The price used to be $100. Now it's down to 9. Okay, so you've lost 91%. Sucks. But you're like, wait a minute. How have we lost 91% of value when our people in the network has 3x'd? But that's just how the formula works, Metcalfe's Law from the parabola and how things work, okay? So now you get to see price charts from a different perspective. I mean, for example, HEX price chart, right? You get to see, oh my gosh, like people came in, people got wrecked, okay? And it doesn't even have to be all the people coming in. It's still people joining. It's just that early people were just dumping so much. The inflation was just, it was just too much to deal with, clearly. So going through the movie, I think it was 10 out of 10 movie. I'll be honest, doesn't promote HEX whatsoever in a positive light at all. At all, okay? It makes you think. It makes you go, something weird's going on over there, like a horror movie, something bad's about to happen. Now, because we know the price chart, we know how everything looks like, okay? And the concepts about money, we got a better money and things like that, we already know that. I mean, they're repeated talking points. See, it's one thing to hold that torch on a hill. And in Ricardo's own words, we are the shining light on a hill. Doesn't feel like it, okay? So it really doesn't feel like it. Because at the end of the day, look around, your friends. Go to the comment sections. Look around. Gaming coins are up. Layer 1 trash trains are up. Everything goes up. Random new things go up. We're getting ravaged. Now, I'm praying that we are at the tippy end of the dumping. But I've got both my fingers crossed here because at the end of the day, I'm just hoping what my theory is playing out to be true. I hope it's confirmed where DeFi is our sector. We're not actually the Bitcoin store of value old narrative for HEX and PulseChain and PulseX. I hope it is more to do with that DeFi sector, which has still been ravaged since 2020, okay? So that's another perspective, okay? Also, I want to show you this. This is AAVE, man. This is literally AAVE. AAVE, friends, AAVE is like the 4th biggest protocol in like all of crypto. Money markets, it's literally, friends, JP Mosquito, like the big office buildings, it's literally them on the blockchain, all right? You know how Richard put the first certificate of deposit on blockchain? Yeah, this is actually JP Mosquito, like banks. This is actually the banking. This is multiple levels of the office. All of that is just the AAVE code, okay? Look at this price chart. This is AAVE ETH. Ravaged. Ravaged. I pray that this thing resurges in the next year with HEX as like a, you know, it's like a return to kind of former glory. But, I mean, after everything you've seen, friends, and the way things are going, who's coming to buy these bags? I mean, it's just people go and rather just buy gaming coins or coins shielded from that. Really, people are really understanding they have to pay attention now. People know that. They know, oh, well, this influencer, you know, Elio trades and I expect being talking about gaming coins. So I'm just going to go buy 5 gaming coins. Maybe DeFi gets a spark next year. I hope it does. Remember, everything takes turns. Okay, so that's important to look at too. Now, the closing thought, I just like, remember my first gut instinct. Once everything calmed down, I was like, man, that looks like a scam, right? Just to be honest. But at the end of it, I realized, oh, man, he's got to pump this ecosystem up. He's got to do something, friend. Something's got to happen. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what the grand plan is. We all win. Those things are thrown out, okay? But I look around and I just see everyone and I refuse to believe this thing has no value. It makes absolutely no sense that warriors and soldiers, okay, in the trenches, even people who hate each other, friends. Look at the memes. There was Trayvon, there was Mr. B Roots and Buck and all these stuff, throwing all these slinging and the Jerry Springer Fest. You can't tell me these people, all of us, staying in this group, plus the minus 99%, plus all these projects launching, plus 140 content creators. I don't go on and on and on. You can't tell me all of that has to fizzle out like EOS or Litecoin or XRP, right? It can't, man. It just can't. But hey, I'll just tell you right now, you never say it can't in markets, right? It can't. But I'm just telling you, right? In my past, whenever I've thought like this, in my like this deep peanut brain thought, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying in the past, when I've thought like this, it means I'm right. It just means the market's just taking a long time to do it. That's it. Not like super long, but I mean like the market's like playing it out over like month after month after month after month. And I'm just sitting there like, man, what am I missing that everybody else can see, right? That's what it is. These things take time. I last had this feeling, well, not last, but once I had this feeling with Ethereum when I was buying the bottom of ETH BTC in December of 2019. Actually, funny enough, that was the HEX launch, right? So I had the same feeling. I was like, man, what am I missing? This should be way higher. There's absolutely no sense. And there were periods of Ethereum doing that. So fingers crossed that this thing works out. I know there's value there, but like I said to you, friends, remember that example I used to you, you know, the crash from the top is big. It really is big. And everyone's going to talk about market cap valuations and all of these. But going through that movie, you know at the end of the day, like just, we can all say, yes, win, we're here together. Yes, we are. But at the end of the day, if you pull the plug today, 90% of people lose. 95% like lose big. Okay. But hey, it's all our own fault. Crypto's risky. We tried. It is what it is. But I don't know if that's an attitude you just want to go take out. It is frustrating to see these absolute trash scams just freaking rocket out and do that. So, I mean, hopefully there is glory, right? There is light at the end of the tunnel. You know me, friends. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm just saying we're going to keep fighting the good fight. I still think it's undervalued. And I guess we're just going to wait and see how DeFi performs in 2024. Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button all to mum and dad. We still are going to make it. Catch you very soon.